Traveling across the frozen fields of Cope, Adansi found a bridge standing over a frozen river. Bridge was barely standing. The brittle bridge was half rotten and the other half was rusted. Even if the bridge was in good health, it was narrow, barely wide enough for a little girl to walk over. It would not support a powerful ankylosaurus, nor would it support a knight in full armor. Yet before the broken bridge was a knight in full armor, with a large blue tyrannosaurus feather on his helmet. His sword was in the snow, snowdrifts reached his ankles and coated the tip of his blade, as Adanse got close to the knight as the knight of the bridge spoke. I am the knight of the bridge, and I am the one who spoke. I guard this bridge from any who wish to cross this bridge to head to the Machiavelli Mountains. I am honor-bound to fight all who dare to cross this bridge without paying the bridge's toll, the knight said before Adanse spoke. Greetings, knight of the bridge. I am a little girl from a place that is not here. I understand you are honor-bound to fight those who dare cross the bridge, but are you honor-bound to fight those who dare speak to you? Adanse asked, as the knight was silent before he spoke again. I am not. If you wish to speak, you may, but most do not deign to speak to me. They have always paid the toll, tried to fight me, walked away, or crossed over the frozen river, the knight said. Only those four things. Have you had many visitors? Adanse asked. Only four, the knight said, even as he kept his vigil. No one else was in sight, nor was there a shelter, house, nor even a campfire to warm this cold night. He must have been freezing, but he was still standing there, guarding the bridge. So I am the fifth visitor. But tell me, knight of the bridge, if you are honor-bound to keep any from crossing this bridge without paying a toll, do you stop those that cross on the river? She asked the knight, who only scoffed at her question, like it was only one a little girl would ask, because grown-ups already knew the answer. That wasn't an answer, Adanse said, as the knight only chuckled. That was also not an answer. I did not know. That is why I asked. I was not telling a joke. I did not perform. I am standing, but I am not standing up. So tell me, knight of the bridge, do you stop those that cross the river, but not the river? She asked the knight, who finally answered. No, I do not stop those who cross over the river. I am only honor-bound to guard the bridge, not the whole frozen river. Could you imagine if I had to guard the entire river? No man can guard an entire river, the knight said. The river behind him fell from the mountain and it plunged into a tunnel after a mere 5 meters. Adansi was certain he could guard the entire river and he wouldn't have to move at all. If you guard this bridge, do you stop those who walk down from the mountain and want to walk this bridge? She asked the knight, who only laughed again. Silly girl! No one has ever come down from the mountain, so there is no need to guard people from the Machiavelli Mountains, the knight told her. So you're here to warn anyone who wants to travel to the Machiavelli Mountains that no one else has returned? No, I just guard the bridge. So, do you use the toll you collect to repair the bridge? No, it's what I use to pay myself. What do you pay yourself for doing? I pay myself for guarding the bridge and collecting tolls, the knight said, only confusing Adanse even more. So, you pay yourself for the job of paying yourself. How does that make you different from a beggar? She asked him, and he laughed at her statement. Ha ha. Beggars aren't honorable, he said, and she only shook her head in confusion. What honor do you possess that a beggar and medallion does not possess? I will do you even one better. You do not possess as much honor as a beggar in medallion, Adansi said, as the knight gripped the hilt of his sword tight, like he would swing his sword at the young girl. for he scoffed and his grip lessened. Only someone who doesn't know what honor is would possibly make that comparison, the beggar knight said, as Adansi began to list things off. A beggar wouldn't ask to fight a little girl. A beggar wouldn't let others go somewhere dangerous without a warning. A beggar wouldn't live near such a dangerous structure, the young girl said as the knight lifted his blade in warning. I fought for the patriarch of Cope, the knight warned. So did the beggar. I have armor. I have a sword, he said to her, his sword at the ready. If having armor and a sword makes you honorable, then why isn't the blacksmith the most honorable? Adansi asked, to the silence of the knight, before he slashed his sword, cleanly separating her head from her shoulders. Her head rolled down the banks of the river, resting on the frozen stream below. Her red blood stained the snow of Cope as her body fell down, and the knight grabbed her coin purse, tied to her waist. He counted her strange golden coins. They weren't shaped like the square coins of Cope. They were shaped like small golden ants. Still, the way they clinked, they were gold, even if they looked like children's lead figures. Then he heard a familiar girl's voice behind him and below him, echoing up from the riverbank. Oh, I see. You're a bandit. Not an honest one. Most bandits are honest enough to say, stand and deliver, and none of them have tried to cut the head off a little girl yet, the voice said, to the knight as he peered over the riverbank, where he expected to see the head. The only thing he saw down there? His own severed head, smiling back at him as he backed away, and he realized he was still holding the golden ants. The knight tried to throw the ants, only to realize that they were crawling on his armor. Everywhere they stepped, the armor turned to gold. The knight felt cold and stiff wherever the ants stepped as he tried to run, tried to fight, only to be stuck, standing in front of the bridge. Stuck in the same pose he had when the little girl approached. As the now golden knight statue stood at the bridge, the man inside the armor wished he could move, scream, cry, or even breathe. Instead, he stood there, forced to watch where the young girl's body lay in the snow. He watched as the body stood up, still headless, and blood still dripping from her neck as the body headed down to the river behind the knight. The knight could hear the crunch of snow behind him, but he could not move, and he could only stare forward, only able to move his eyes behind his helmet as he heard the sound of crunching snow and wet squelching as the young girl returned to stand in front of him. In her hands was her own severed head. The girl lifted her head up in her hands like a child presenting a carved lantern. The severed head opened its eyes as the child smiled, and even as blood fell out from the bottom of the head, she spoke. Even with her severed vocal cords and no lungs, her voice spoke with no issue, and her voice still sounded the same. Wow, I think I feel lightheaded. Well, you weren't honorable since you were willing to kill a little girl for gold. It seems fair to turn you into gold. Now you'll have all the gold you need since clearly you value that more than honor, the young girl said as she balanced her head between her shoulders, as she pulled a scarf from her sleeve as she wrapped the scarf around her neck. The scarf hid the wound as she wrapped it around her neck as she stretched and popped her neck in a way that shouldn't be possible before she removed the scarf, revealing that she was injured no more. But I am also generous. If you want to become flesh again, all you have to do is wait for someone to leave a coin at your feet. You can't see it, but there is a plaque at your feet asking for a coin. All you have to do is wait for someone to come here, see your plaque requesting for a coin, and then leave a coin for you to be free. How often do you think people come here? You mentioned 4 people came here and only one gave you a coin. Do you think that they would have given you a coin without you being able to move? How many kins, how many fortnights, how many seasons, how many years, how many centuries do you think that will be before someone willingly leaves a coin for you to be free? Do you think that anyone will be that kind for you? Never sleeping, never eating, never changing, forever staying the same while the world changes all around you. Can you bear such a burden? And that is if no one is so selfish as to melt you down themselves. Can you imagine your consciousness split among hundreds, thousands, or even millions of different parts, all screaming silently forever, wishing for death, only to realize that she will never find you? Her consciousness so divided, it will never come together. As in time, the world will die, you will be buried, and you will watch as Kinich burns all around you, and only divide your consciousness further as you are flung beyond the stars. Can your mind even comprehend such a fate? Can you imagine being trapped as gold for so long that the memory of your life as a person becomes less substantial than a dream? Can you imagine being cursed so long that you wonder if the true curse was your time as a man? Can you imagine being there to witness the end of all things, and then you still endure, all because you cut one little girl's little neck? That the only hope to avoid this fate is that someone out there is less greedy than you? Do you believe that someone like that exists? Do you believe someone like that would come for you? Do you believe someone like that would free you? The young girl asked the knight as the weight of his curse weighed on him. How long would the eternity of his curse be? He wondered to himself as the little girl walked past him, walking on the rickety-trickety bridge behind him. As Adansi crossed the bridge, the young girl inside of her turned and picked a golden square coin of cope as she flicked her wrist and threw the coin perfectly, having it land at the golden knight's feet. The curse broke at that moment as the young girl, Adansi, turned back to the Machiavelli Mountains as she began to trek up the trail to reach the mountains, while the bandit of the bridge behind her rested on his hands and knees. Able to breathe again, able to move again, able to have his heart beat again was a relief, but a terrifying relief. Someone was able to curse him so thoroughly, he could have stood there, conscious but unable to move, seeing the world change, watching endless kins, nights, and seasons pass. Instead, that young girl let him go. The bandit was certain of one thing. His bandit days were long gone, and he was not going anywhere near this bridge again.